We
Hello.
are live, back again with the weekly vol. Let's make sure that everything is working okay. Is the live stream going okay? Is it working on Twitter? Let's have a look. We'll have some people joining in due time, I'm sure, as well. Yeah, looks like it's working fine. Hello, welcome everyone. How's it going? Welcome back to the weekly vol. We're going to be talking about all things market again. It's been a little shaky, but we'll kind of catch you all up with what's been going on. Yeah, let's first of all have a look at this, the Bitcoin chart. Um, BM people, how's it going? I see Migs in the house. Some more people tuning in right now as well. So hope you're doing well. Before we actually go on to the Bitcoin chart, my name is Waj, joined by my co-host Mo. How's it going, my friend?
It's going great. Better than ever. Like, everything's going well except for Bitcoin.
Well,
Bitcoin has.
you said better than ever. I mean, I wouldn't say the markets have been better than ever, but at least we're a little bit better than where we were maybe a week or so ago, right?
As long as we're better than yesterday, I'm happy.
Well, we're better than yesterday because Bitcoin right now is 83 and a half thousand dollars. And there was a little bit of time where I was perhaps a little worried about kind of where price action is going to take us. And here's basically the setup, right? I've really zoomed out a lot here to kind of showcase where we really are. If we just go back to November, right? We were sat around 60 in the high 60s. That that 68K mark was a really, really tough one to break. We had this fake out in October, and then in November, with Trump,
Trump.
yeah, we went crazy, right? Now
Yeah.
there was going from that 68K mark all the way, breaking out from that point and going all the way to where we ended up going. Within 2 weeks, we went up 30%, aka $22,000 worth appreciation in Bitcoin. It
Yeah.
happened so quick that we didn't really get much of a chance to build some big, solid support or resistance. And so there's a lot of basically air in this gap right here, don't you think? And I think this is, for me anyway, personally, something that worried me when we did break down here, thinking if the appreciation in this range was so fast, maybe the depreciation will be just as fast as well. I don't know if you had any similar thoughts on that as well, Mo.
Yeah, I have a different approach. Like, when I see something like this, uh, like a strong break, I wouldn't think that the dump would be like the same, because like this sort of inflow that came from all the way from like 68K all the way to 90K, this was like created by largest, like very large buys, and like people kind of like FOMOing into Bitcoin. So I think like we are forming some sort of support here. Like you can visibly see it like around 77K. Like we bounced twice. So I'm not saying that we bottomed, but like there's a chance that we did, because like everybody's waiting on 70, low 70s. Like if you can like go back a few weeks ago, everybody was like, yeah, 85K, 82K, and then like we're back to all-time highs. Like the moment I saw that, like it was obvious, like since everyone's waiting on it, it probably won't happen. Like it either will go way below it, or it will like bounce way above it. Like I always like use this as a reference, because like when everybody's waiting on something, it probably won't happen.
So do you feel like we're in a place now where everyone is waiting on like low 70s now? Is this like
Yeah,
consensus? Do you think like oh yeah, like
yeah,
70, maybe 72K or maybe 68K or maybe somewhere in between, right? Maybe this kind of range around uh around here. Maybe this is the kind of area that we're looking at going. Is
uh,
this consensus?
like everybody's agreeing on like Bitcoin sort of hitting a bottom between 73 and 68. like
Yeah, I
this
think
5K range.
yeah. I mean, I agree. I think these are really some of the levels that people are talking about.
Yeah, but how
Uh,
often do you see like something that almost everybody agrees on and it actually happening?
no, you raise a good point. You raise a good point. Yeah, I'm not
The
sure.
same way, like the same way, uh, the the January low. Can you? I can't remember which day it was, but like the day it went to 88K.
Uh,
No. January 2025, 2025.
yeah, it's all on here. It's oh, that was
Yeah, this one,
89
this one. Yeah,
that
like
week.
this day, everybody was like, yeah, 85K. It was obviously not. So, like, longing here was good, but like
Hmm.
you would have expected it to like go a bit lower eventually,
Yeah, yeah. No, no, fair enough, fair
because
enough.
the 90K line was like obviously over exhausted, like 2 months of ranging. So I think it's healthy. It went down in
Yeah,
a healthy manner.
yeah. No, fair enough, fair enough. I think, yeah, there's a couple of areas that I'm looking at is of course what we just mentioned, but also on the top, I think this 91, 92K mark is going to be like the critical, I think, like for going up, and we're kind of just in the
Yeah,
middle of this range right now. I mean, how have you mapped out anything like maybe EMAs or anything like that, like anything that you're looking at right now that you think
I
is
really
worth.
hate using EMAs because like, mm, but EMAs probably work like on like the weekly time frame, weekly or monthly. But other than that, it's probably
Did you ever
useless.
look at them? I haven't looked at EMAs in a while as well, actually.
Yeah, but probably
This,
put on the like EMA 200 and 50, 100. Yeah, these ones. Remove the 20.
so
Remove the 20. It's useless.
the top one is the 21, right?
Yeah, the one that moves the most.
I don't know how to remove it. Oh,
Later, later.
yeah, we'll do. Yeah, just to save time, I won't. I'll keep it on for now. But yeah, maybe let's zoom out then. Let's look at the weekly, because I think maybe this can give some insights right now into where we are. But mm, not really near any EMAs right now, other than this one. But yeah, I think in general, I don't
Yeah,
really use EMA
the red one
much.
is the 20. Like the one it
Yeah,
touched is the 50.
50, yeah, 100, 200. So we touched 50 EMA. So that was I don't know if that you count that as support or what, but
Of course, of course.
yeah, I guess that's healthy. For me, I'm looking on the daily most of the time right now, and I'm just looking at this like 84 mark, you could say, where we had it as support for a couple of days, went all the way back up to 95, and then broke down below it. So I think getting above it is like first step towards getting back up to back to the 90s again.
Yeah,
If we reject off this, then I do foresee potentially this concept of lower highs, lower lows, and potentially kind of.
I do see Bitcoin hitting like 87K within a few days.
You think this is going to be just a wick, or like actually the base for some candles to actually end up
I hope
trending?
it's a base. I hope it's a base. Like if we can like sit comfortably above 84K, like we can probably target 87K.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. No, I agree with you on that. I'd say actually probably could even go. Yeah, okay, I see the 87K. You're looking at these candles from November. Okay, I see that. I see that for sure. I think flipping this and holding it as support. I'd like to see a daily close above it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd be
and there's
keen on.
also a CME gap.
Yeah, how big is the gap?
It's not that big, but it's like there's an obvious gap at 87K. So like, and most of the time they get filled. So we'll probably have to monitor it that day, like whether it will be as resistance or if it can reclaim it eventually. But yeah,
Yeah.
like there was a massive gap at like 77K, and it like the one that happened like 2 months ago, 4 months ago during
And we hit.
November. Yeah, and it filled, like it fully filled.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Let's see. Let's see. I think this will be interesting. So I think, yeah, for the short term, aka in the next couple of days, I'm really looking to see if we flip. and head to back above this resistance that we have here. And if we do and hold it, yeah, I would look towards going towards 87 for sure. And if not, potentially back to 90 as well. But otherwise, this still looks like we're in a downtrend right now. I mean, if you just look clear pattern recognition, this is lower highs, lower lows, and potentially a lower high coming here as well. So I am wary of the
Mm.
downside as well. So I will, if you are trading this,
Yeah, but
uh,
it can be a potential uptrend on like the lower time frames, like maybe the 1 hour.
maybe let's have a look. Let's have a look at the 1 hour. I haven't looked at the 1 hour. Yeah, could be, could be. I can see this as well. Uh, Obviously, lower time frames don't not as good for confluence, and so I think much better to use a higher time
Yeah,
frame. Which I prefer the daily, but I think either way, this is kind of where we are at the moment. The interesting thing
it
is,
will be.
yeah, go ahead, Mo.
No, no, I just said like it will be interesting how Bitcoin reacts in the next few days.
Yeah, no, no, totally agree, totally agree.
Yeah,
And you know, I think I'm still in the camp where I'm not too sure what's going on with the overall market. I don't know if things are bearish from here or if the bottom is in or not. I don't have a good read on this right now. I think I'm just taking things day by day. Not really looking at the moment to personally, and again, no financial advice on the show. We're just two random guys. What do we know? But yeah, personally, I'm not really looking to allocate my capital in markets right now just because of the uncertainty. And part of that stems from these recession fears and macro fears, and also the poor performance of the stock market, which again is not really having a good day. The S&P 500 down again. Big tech stocks like Apple down a lot today as well.
yeah,
Uh,
we'll have to take a look at
yes,
like SPX in like 15 minutes when
yeah,
the market opens.
yeah. This is yesterday. Sorry.
By the way, like you can just type in SPX 500 and you'll get like a live chart. This one only opens during New York session.
Let me
Yeah,
see.
uh, yeah, Black Bull. No, 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 Black SPX 500.
All right, all right. So here we go. We've got a more up to date chart. So we're a little bit higher than yesterday, but nothing much. But yeah, let's see what happens when the market opens. I mean, you zoom out a little bit and you can really see like how what happens when we have these dips. Let's zoom out really a lot and we can kind of see. The last time that we had a dip that kind of resembles what we have right now, which is of course a 11% dip almost, was back last year, last summer. We had a 10% dip. I think you could go back a little bit further to November 2023, I should say. We had again an 11% dip. So we're basically at the same levels as what we had back then. Of course, we had the big dip back in 22 with the interest rate hikes and things like that. That was a 27% dip in the market. So is a recession going to cause us to have a much deeper correction like this? Maybe. I don't know. If that was the case, let's have a look how much further we have to go. Yeah, a lot more to come if it were to be something like this. However, remember in 2022, this didn't just happen in one go. There were plenty of pullbacks in the market. In fact, you even have this one, which was like a 20% rally, only to go back lower later on. This also happened over quite a big time period, I think. Like, yeah, through basically a year, almost a year, a
Yeah,
downtrend back then in 2022. So yeah, let's see. The stock market has rallied, remarkably since then, and you already have a lot of the big companies down quite bad actually. Tesla being one of the culprits here, being down 50% from all-time highs, just a few months ago. But even the likes of like big tech companies like Microsoft also being down 20% here. Google as well being down 20%, and Nvidia as well. I noticed also down a fair amount from all-time highs. Yeah, similar, about 20% here as well. So
yeah,
yeah, we've already had like big corrections in like tech giants. how much more can the likes of Google, Amazon, Microsoft
I
expect?
wouldn't say they have that much like to lose anymore.
Yeah, maybe we're getting to like really fair prices for some of these assets. We're
Yeah,
trading at
because
prices.
like stocks, like 10, 20, 30% uh, corrections are like optimal for entry. Unlike like in crypto, like you wait for a 50%, 60%, 70% correction.
Yeah, I mean, for something like Google, right? After this correction, we're only, like 10% higher than where we were, in 2021, and of
So is
course, from
Bitcoin.
from yeah. So, so yeah, there's been a lot of damage. That Nasdaq is down even more, actually. By the way,
Yeah,
uh, Nasdaq is down 14% almost. But of course, Nasdaq back then when we had that correction went down a lot. It actually went down 37% if you
yeah,
include the wicks. So yeah, let's see. This was like a proper V-shaped recovery. I think just as quick as it went down, it went back up. Is the same thing going to happen here? I don't know. With a recession, I genuinely don't know. If any of you guys watching have some insights on this, would be great to hear. But I do think like this ultimately does cause me to be a little cautious about Bitcoin, and even not only just Bitcoin, but kind of the whole market as a whole, really, I should say. So yeah, let's see. Let's see where we end up. But this is just kind of what I'm looking at right now. Uh, yeah, there you go. That's the same chart as before, but just with some of my comments as well. Are you looking to trade Bitcoin or to accumulate Bitcoin, or like what kind of thing would you do in this kind of market? I truly believe that this is a proper traders market right now. If you're a long term investor, or you're trying to like you know maybe not even necessarily long term invest, but try to like trade the cycles, I think you get chopped up. It's a really, really tough one, I
yeah.
think for traders, if you're intraday trading, or you're trading 0 day options, or if you're trading short time frame perps, then yeah, this might be the market for you. But yeah, what do you think about it, and how are you trading it yourself?
Personally, I've been getting wrecked for the like last 2 weeks ever since the SPR announcement. But like yeah, I'm still long and strong. I'm still like uh, quite bullish. Like sometimes you just have to ignore some outside noise, even though like the macro just seems a bit bad. I think it will end soon, and like better conditions are coming eventually. So yeah, I'm still like bullish, even though there might be some obstacles along the way, like during the short term.
Yeah, no, makes sense. Makes sense. Are you looking to dive into alts a little at the
I,
moment, or is it
I'm
more
I'm
like
deeply in alts.
yeah. But like if you had capital on the side, would you keep it? Would you keep it
No,
on the side, or
currently,
would
if
you
I
kind of
had
go
like
for?
capital on the side, I would, since I'm like quite invested right now, I would keep some aside and like potentially have some stink bids on certain assets, like not any alt, like strong alts, like something like that's strong fundamentally and something I probably believe in, or I just have to trade with it with that money.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Excuse me,
Okay.
I'm getting a call. I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, sure, no worries. Okay, so I mean, this is kind of how things look for Bitcoin. I think it makes sense for us to look at some of the other assets. If you guys are watching and you want us to pull up a chart of some of your favorite altcoins, drop them in the chat box and we'll pull them up. But I think it makes sense to first of all have a look at our favorite asset, or our ecosystem asset, I should say, which of course is Bearer. And I'm gonna really try and zoom in here to really try and appreciate this. I need to remove these EMAs actually. Okay, fine. Here we go. This is Bearer. Uh, whoops. Nothing too crazy happening right now with the Bearer price action. We had this kind of double top, you could say here. We've had a double top on Bearer. You could say we've got a McDonald's sign pattern here. can definitely see appreciate the M's on the daily chart. But now that we've had this damage and we've gone down 35%, even in fact lower at the bottom of this wick, we're chilling around 5.9. And yesterday I noticed that we did have an attempt to kind of break past this resistance here, which is around 6.1, 6.2. Last 2 days actually failed breakout. And so the question is, are we just going to go down a little bit, which we did. We ended up going down a little bit, but are we going to finally have the strength to break past this area? And I think this has been something that's been tricky for Barrow. We did it the first time and rallied up really a lot, all the way to $9 plus. We've spent a reasonable amount of time, under this mark. Maybe it's just a case of we have to be a little bit more patient, and maybe we have the strength to finally break this. I don't know just yet, but this is something that I'm looking at very, very closely because we're right on the tip of it. And I think a daily close above this mark, which I've marked out at around 6.18. I think daily close above this, maybe daily close above 6.2. Yeah, I would feel pretty bullish on bearer price action.
Agree.
We do have,
Agree.
yeah. I mean, we do, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, let's see how it goes. I still believe in the fill the wick prophecy, which I think is
15.
what's that? 50, yeah, $15.
That's easy.
So I believe in the fill the wick.
That's like
Yeah,
7
I
billion.
mean, yeah, 7 billion, 7.5 billion.
I think it's fair. I think 10 billion is fair for like a project like Bera.
Well, the market obviously doesn't feel like that's fair right now, does it?
A massive repricing is happening soon.
Yeah, let's see. But yeah, I think this is kind of where I'm looking at things right now. I mean, the question is, right, if we were to close above this, I think this would actually be an opportunity where I would be keen on longing. I guess one other area that now does pop up is this 6.6 area, which again has now was support for maybe a few days, actually, quite a few days before breaking down massively. So yeah, I think breaking 6.2, 6.6. I think after that, sky's the limit. And yeah, we'll see how everything goes with proof of liquidity going live for ecosystem tokens next week. And yeah, I think that's when the real fun begins. Whether or not this causes sell
Proof
pressure
of
for
liquidity
Bearer
is coming when?
should be next week.
Yeah.
Should be. I mean, it's not officially announced, but as far as I'm aware, from how things have been developing, I'm expecting next week. But the question is, of course, is proof of liquidity going to be, a selling event? Is it more bullish for ecosystem tokens rather than, the bearer token itself? I don't know. I haven't quite figured this out just yet. But I think there's lots of moving parts here, and I think there is an upgrade or a catalyst, I should say, for the ecosystem as a whole. Perhaps this increases the volumes, which makes Bearer looks more attractive. I don't know just yet. We'll have to wait and see how it really plays out. But yeah, this is kind of what I'm looking at when it comes to Bearer right now. 6.2, 6.6, and I think where we are right now, we're relatively okay. I think the floor is still basically like 5.2 ish or something like this, 5.2 or 5.15. Basically around this is the floor right now.
$5.
So yeah, call it $5. So yeah, see how it goes. I think if we were to close below 5.9, then I think it would be quite bearish. And so you do have a potentially interesting trade here where you could like cut your losses at 5.9 and below, but then hopefully ride the upside here. So yeah, this would be like my long, and this would be like where my invalidation. I think yeah, around that point,
Yeah.
I would be willing to cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we are right now for Bearer. What should we move on to next? ETH. Let's have a look at ETH. And ETH has been, probably the most disappointing asset of the entire market so far. I think we actually talked about ETH capitulating just a few weeks ago, and it looks like it's happening in real time as we speak as well. So yeah, it's heading towards that $1,500 mark at the moment. Honestly, I don't think there's. I don't really have much to say about ETH. I mean, we were at $4,000 only in December, and in a matter of 90 days, we're down over 50% on ETH. This has been brutal. One of the brutal parts has been the fact that there hasn't really been any sort of bounces whatsoever. The bounces that do come last for a day before selling back down again.
Yeah,
So yeah, this has been very, very, very brutal. I mean, this is as steep as it gets, right? When it comes to a downtrend, you
it's
know.
been tough. Like being an ETH holder has been tough.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't even know what to say. We're at 2023 prices now. Uh, yeah, eh, really quite remarkable, actually. Really, really remarkable. Just seeing like what where we are. Nowhere near all time high. From all time highs, we're actually down
70.
about 60%.
Yeah,
If we actually Yeah, 60. If we actually want to get back to all-time highs from here, it's 160% move up,
damn.
which for something like ETH seems, crazy, right? Considering how hard it is for ETH to pump. The interesting thing that I still noticed today is, the market goes up 3%, ETH goes up 1%, the market goes down 3%, ETH goes down 10%, or 5% or something like that. So yeah, ETH is weaker on the upside. It's weaker on the downside as well. It's just not looking good for it. But the question is like, what is the floor for ETH? Is it $1,000? Is the bear market lows like the real true floor value for an asset like ETH? And are we eventually gonna end up back down here again? I don't know. I mean, it's not that far away. Uh, well, 45% seems like it's not that far away. Maybe it's a 1500, which we've spent a lot of time at before as well. Which that definitely isn't that far away. I think that's only 17% away, so not far at all. Yeah, what do you think about ETH? Like, what is the floor price of ETH? When will we get to that?
There is no floor price. We only have the ceiling price, and that's 4K. It looks bad.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
looks bad. Like you can't say much
yeah, it
about
looks
it.
terrible.
Like it's been bad. Like yeah,
So
it's been flipped by XRP.
yeah, XRP is the number two asset by FTV. You can see here, Bitcoin's chilling at 1.7 trillion, whereas XRP 230 billion, ETH 229 billion. Yeah.
It can
So
probably go to
yeah,
like 1.5, maybe even lower if like Bitcoin goes into a full-on bear market. Like maybe if we see Bitcoin at
yeah,
like 60K, 50K, it can probably go like to bear market lows.
yeah. On the contrary, we have something like
It's been
XRP,
strong.
which is actually relatively holding up okay. We looked at ETH down 55%, XRP only 31%, which is faring a lot better. Uh, yeah, looks like we've been in this choppy range though from basically November, so like 5 months of chop. Eventually this is I feel like will compress, and eventually we will see a move either to the upside or to the downside. I don't know yet, but yeah, I look forward to seeing. I don't know if this is the beginning of a downtrend though as well. At the same time, haven't quite figured this out yet, but I think this is just kind of how I'm seeing things right now. Is this going to be a range like this? It remains to be seen.
I think XRP
I will be keeping.
will be a bit stronger. Like it even looks
Maybe.
better than Bitcoin, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. From a technical perspective, it looks okay. Let's look at Solana as well, um, which again it's below this mark that we marked out. This was like the infinite support service here that we had. Look how many times we touched this support. One, two, three, four, five, six, seventh time broke down below it, and looks like so far we're not doing well. We're doing okay, I guess. We're doing okay. We just have to kind of see where things are going. If Sol does manage to get past back into this back above $130, I think it will look good. Otherwise, maybe we will just kind of
Solana is
chop
a good
around
buy.
here a little bit.
Solana is a good buy here.
What makes you think Solana is a good buy here?
Like just how the ecosystem is built, like how the
Yeah.
like
You mean meme
everything
coins?
revolving around Solana is doing like it's way better than other chains. Like Solana is a top tier chain. It's fast, it's cheap, it's like it onboards people, a lot of people. It's user friendly. Like I wouldn't think uh, $100 Solana is expensive, and
So,
I wouldn't say $300 isn't doable.
so the question is, right? Everything is all relative, right? So, is Solana worth half of ETH right now?
Yeah,
Okay, so it's fair price. Is it worth the same as ETH?
no, I wouldn't say so, not yet.
So not yet, right? Like where ETH is today, like should Sol be relatively worth the same? Should it? Okay, fine, fine.
Like
Um,
from like
ha, it,
if you take into like consideration everything I mentioned earlier, like you would say Sol is
yeah.
better, but like the only reason we have ETH on such a pedestal is like because of the foundation that we built on ETH. Like ETH, ETH started everything. You know, I don't think we can hear you, Ash.
Oh, whoops. Sorry, I muted
Yeah.
myself. Yeah, I was just saying. I mean, ETH is still like the top dog in the space, right? DeFi TVL for ETH 45 billion, total TVL 150 billion almost. Whereas with Sol is with 7 bill TVL in DeFi and 22 billion overall. There's a big gap there, and maybe that's kind of what justifies it. But what's interesting to me is the gap between maybe some of these other chains, the likes of Sonic or Sui, Aptos, Avalanche, and Berachain compared to Solana, because there is quite a big gap there. Sol and BSC are kind of in the league of their own, and then you have all of these other chains below them. Like, what is the how big should the gap be? Is it fair? Is it higher? Should it be lower? What do you think?
I think it's fair. I think it's fair.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I do really enjoy using a lot of apps on Sol. I think you absolutely bang on. Like the UX is amazing. It's the retail chain. So yeah, maybe this is a good maybe this is good value here. I think either way, I'm looking at if we break past and get back into this long range that we were in from 2024, things will be good for Sol. And yeah, maybe I look to be a buyer. Like I said, still waiting to see kind of how macro things look. But yeah, I think otherwise, so should be a good one. Um, yeah, absolutely. What do you think about what do you think about gold? I know that we were talking about this before, actually, and normally we don't really talk about this on the weekly vol, but I thought I'd mention it just because we were talking about it, and I actually even tweeted about it yesterday. Seeing gold at all-time high prices. Uh, you know, this is what Bitcoin really was supposed to be, right? But definitely wasn't. For the last since November 22, this has just been in a pure uptrend, right? Like literally 2.5 years of like just uptrend. 90% up. I don't know what the best ways to leverage yourself up on gold are, but yeah, what do you think about this chart and where do you think it's going to go?
Mm, I wouldn't like in the long run, like
I'll tell you one. I wouldn't
gold
be
will
shorting this
eventually
chart.
keep going up in the long run. But like if like the wars like de-escalate, like and the fear of recession also like goes down a bit, like I think gold can go down because like all you,
Yeah,
like all of this pump was like fueled by war and fear of recession. Like the ever since October 2023, like gold went from 1800 to $3,000, and like this run was started by like fueled by the war that was happening in Palestine. Like you can track it. Like it started there.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like gold is like meant to be the safe
Yeah, exactly.
haven, an asset that performs well in times of difficulty. You could argue we are in those times right now, or coming into those times with the market down, 15, 20%, and crypto assets down much more than that. Yeah, interesting. I personally don't hold any gold myself, but yeah, I think the idea of it is fun, especially if you have derivatives on it. But yeah, just thought I just was interested
Man,
to hear
I
what you thought
remember
about it.
telling my mom like, "Why would you even hold gold? Like you can buy crypto." Man, she's doing way better than me right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think we made a joke before that gold prices are doing much better than ETH price, right? Like a year ago, they were both $1,800 or something like that, or maybe a little while longer than that.
Yeah,
And now gold is at 3K and ETH is at 2K, or no less than that actually. So yeah, that's quite funny. Uh, in terms of like crypto assets as well, let's go back to crypto. Where are you seeing like most of the narrative flowing to right now? I see, don't really see. I see like a couple of coins like Chainlink, up pretty nicely on the day, but I mean, in general, I don't really see too much. Here is a coin market cap. Just to see the best performers of the day. Hype, back up to $14. There was a lot of drama around that the last couple of days. Otherwise, we're talking about some assets just being 5 or 6% up. And even on the 7-day chart, the best token over the last 7 days in the top 100 is Story IP, and it's only up 17%. Right?
yeah,
Nothing really that crazy. I mean, you take Story and IP out, and most assets are down over the last 7 days. Where is the narrative coming from right now, and what is the next narrative? I feel like this has been a really, really long time since the AI agent season that we had maybe 3 or 4 months ago. Um, what is the next narrative, and where is it coming from, and what is it going to be? Because I don't actually know. I haven't figured it out. I think I've been thinking, AI will definitely have its craze again, and there will be a new generation of AI tokens that people will speculate on.
yeah. Wait.
But yeah,
How is IP 5 billion?
six, 5.7, closer to 6 bill. Yeah, it's crazy. Uh, don't ask me how. We don't ask those questions. Uh, but yeah, I mean, props to them, man. I can't complain. They've done a great job. Their token has outperformed the market as a whole.
Yeah. Anyway,
I mean, look at the chart. It looks absolutely incredible. Absolutely
yeah.
incredible chart.
So like the next narrative, I don't know. It all depends on Bitcoin. Like if Bitcoin keeps ranging or like going down, there probably won't be a narrative. It will probably be like just people trying to get out, being extractive and all that stuff. But like, yeah, if Bitcoin like gets back up again, like we can probably see a meme season or like an AI season. But again, it's gonna be seasons. Like nothing is gonna be permanent. That's something I learned, and I'll probably never forget after round tripping a lot of money.
I agree with you.
It's
I
gonna
agree
be
with
like
you. I
two,
think
3 weeks of something and like just getting out immediately.
yeah, it feels that way. It feels that way. Um, yeah, I think when it comes to trading as well, like I think one thing that I've tried to do is really improve my trading skills, because I think it really is a trader's market. If you're someone who's able to trade ranges, or you're able to intraday trade, or swing trade, or scalp trade, the opportunities have been there for you. But if you're someone who likes to buy and hold something, this is not really going to work out
Yeah,
for
it was
you.
bad.
So yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, is there, what kind of strategies do you think work for you anyway in this kind of market? Are you someone who, let's say if you have some capital here and you don't really know what to do, would you start like dollar cost averaging into positions that you like, maybe DCA into Bitcoin, or someone like myself who actually just prefers to just kind of hold stable coins, or hold yield bearing assets and kind of use them in DeFi
Probably
to earn some extra yield.
like right now, like the best thing to whether it's through funding rates or like lending out your stables, because like there's nothing to actually do in the market right now. Like I was discussing this with a friend of mine this morning. Like this is the best market to touch grass. Like there's nothing to do. Like you can't trade. Like there's nothing to trade. There's nothing to buy. There's not like the opportunities are very little. Like in terms of trading, but like you can just farm some yield and eventually wait for some volume to kick in, because like when volume eventually kicks in, like you're gonna have to size in. Like that's
Yeah,
something I
yeah.
learned. Like to make the most amount of money from something, like to squeeze it out, like you have to size in. Like don't be afraid to size in.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, I think so. I think so as well. But you know, this takes a lot of skill set as well. I don't think it's easy. I think maybe this is a good time for, as you mentioned, you know, you could touch grass, but you could also like help, you know, and learn some extra skills when it comes to your trading or like your investment strategy. And you know, maybe when the market does turn around, and maybe when the volumes and the liquidity does come in, maybe you'll be much better prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, no, I agree, I agree. For me, anyway, you know, I like to use these markets to do things like farming funding rates, or as you mentioned, you know, using DeFi for yield bearing strategies. I think there's lots of them around, so uh, I think these are kind of really interesting ones to me, anyway. Um, you know, you have let's say something like Bera, which I think we've talked about quite a lot, where you know you have really crazy positive funding rates, you know, at times even 0.1%. And you know you can just kind of open up your 1x long positions, and you know if you want to hedge yourself, you can go to a money market like Dolomite, and you can basically borrow Bera and short it. You know, there's a whole range of different things you could do. I think Kaito funding has flipped the other way around, so now you can actually get paid to short Kaito, and maybe you spot buy Kaito instead. You know, which seems to be doing pretty well over the last couple of minutes. Actually, it seems to be rallying a little bit, or any of the other kind of assets that you can trade on IVX, for example. You know, you could just do funding rate strategies on them, and I think in due time we will see some wacky funding rates as well, as the market progresses. And I think this can be a really nice like way to just kind of be delta neutral. You know, you buy an asset, and then you come to IVX and you short the asset, and you just earn the funding rate, and you're completely neutral to the price. And yeah, something like this is really cool. In due time, you know, we are gonna hopefully have in due time we are hopefully going to have you know, DM as well, so that we can offer 0 day options, and there's going to be a whole range of like yield bearing strategies that you can do there as well. I think that will be really fun, and yeah, let's see how it goes. I guess let's see how it
Yeah.
goes. uh, Maybe we can before we you know, I see a question here. Thoughts on Henlo? I was going to say maybe we can have a look at the Berachain ecosystem a little bit, and see
Let's do it.
how token prices are doing there.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Um, so here's a Henlo that I've just pulled up here. I'd say honestly, Henlo is actually holding up really well. From, you know, the last 5 days, we're pretty much flat. Whereas I think if you look at a lot of other altcoins, they're down. So Henlo's doing okay actually. I think if you had a chance to bid this back at 20 million, which I think it did actually hit very briefly, would have been a great buy. Oh, it hit 20 million on the first day, right? And then it rallied all the way back up to 65, and then since then bled a little bit. Under 30 million, you've had a couple of chances to bid and maybe get your hands on some. So yeah, this one's an interesting one. Um, there's a question. Miggs's question is about the Henlo lockers. Mo, you might know more about this than I do right now, because I'm not too familiar with the Henlo lockers. But any any uh,
Handlockers
any
is
idea?
something that Big Brain Johnny did. It's like like there's some locked hand low, and at certain milestones, like they get unlocked. So like at 69 million, 3.3% gets unlocked. At 100 million, 3.3% that gets unlocked. At 420 million, something gets unlocked. You know how it goes.
Are these lockers live right now?
I don't think it's live yet, but yeah, the final target is 6.9 billion,
6.9 billion. Let's
which is
go.
higher than Bear.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I
Fine.
personally
Cool.
hold some Henlo. Like I bought like I think 2 hours, 2 3 hours after the launch at 30 million.
Okay. 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 Not bad. I think you're up against pretty much everything else in the market. So yeah, pretty
Yeah,
good. Pretty good. Any other ecosystem tokens that you guys want to look at?
probably like eat ramen.
Let's
But
have a
like
look at
all
Yeet
these
very
coins, like
quickly.
you can't look at them like from a technical perspective. Like it's purely fundamentals.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. It seems like it's kind of flat now as well. It seems like it's bottomed here. It did actually go all the way up to 23 million, but yeah, down a bit. Does seem like a fairly bottomed out price action. We're at the basically the public sale prices here. So yeah, the only one that I've really been looking at a lot and like playing with a little bit as well has been IBGT. Main reason why is because if you hold some bearer, this is something that I've been looking at picking up whenever the price goes really cheap. This obviously trades basically at the same price as bearer, but it does have a premium to bearer, and right now the premium is only 15%. So whenever the premiums dropped to below 20%, I've usually been picking some up. Most of the time, it's actually been much higher than 20%. But you can see a couple of times, maybe if I'm put a line on the chart here, uh, couple of times it's actually dropped below this, and on all of these occasions, I've tried to basically pick some up as like basically my proxy way to have exposure to bearer instead. Especially because you can earn like really good yields with this. So, that's what I've been doing anyway. Otherwise, like I said before, I think this is a market where I think protecting capital is very important. And what you can do is you can use your assets to earn yield in the meantime. And yeah, there will be a time I think eventually when volume and liquidity pops back into the market, and maybe then things are exciting. But I'll happily wait for the narrative to come to me rather than me chasing different narratives. I think that's where you can easily get chopped up.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah. So yeah. Any other questions from everyone today? Anyone that want us to look at any other specific charts and anything else before we can wrap up? Mo, anything else you wanted to cover? Any other tokens? Maybe we can look at some quick charts for
Um,
some random altcoins.
yeah,
Is
if they
anything
want some
exciting to
altcoins,
you?
like just send them in the comment section.
Yeah, I'm gonna just like go through whiz through like a bunch of different tokens right now. So we have Tau here, which basically has got absolutely obliterated, but it's pretty much at the lows or like close enough to the lows as you can see from this chart here. Uh, so I mean, not bad. I mean, is this gonna chop around? Will you get another chance to buy it at like low 200s again? Probably. But yeah, this one's an interesting one for me. If you're looking at AI, talking about AI, there's also grass as well, which again like come down a lot. It's not quite at the lows that we were at back in February. It did kind of have a little rally before coming all the way back down again. So yeah, this is like another one that is definitely on my radar and one that I'll be paying attention to as well. This is the daily chart for grass. I think I do think AI eventually has a comeback. I don't know if it's going to be these coins. Don't know if it's going to be new coins, but yeah, AI is one that's interesting to me, and I think will come back. Um, Shout me some more tickers. We'll quickly go through a bunch.
Yeah. Will POL
Uh,
drive IBGT action?
well, this is the question, right? Right now, people are selling IBGT even though you can earn like 80 to 100% yield on it. And so clearly that's not attractive enough for people. And this is real yield. This is real yield being paid out to you in real time in the form of honey as well. So if that's not attractive enough to you, then what is attractive enough? Does the yield
Relax.
have to be 200%, 500%? The honest answer is I don't actually know. I'm hoping maybe it does. I'd like to think so, but I am wary of the fact that at the end of the day with POL, we're all earning bearer rewards or BGT rewards, I should say. And I think a lot of people in the market like this actually want stability, and maybe that results in sell pressure. I don't know. Lots of people are very bullish about POL. I'm very bullish about POL. But yeah, obviously there's always someone who's going to be, at the end of it. What happens in other chains is, you have the network inflation going into like an LST, right? And if people want exposure to that inflation, they have to bid the token, right? Let's take ETH for example, right? If you want exposure to the inflation, you have to bid Lido ST ETH. On Solana, right? You have to bid a Jito Sol or one of the other Sol LSTs, right? You're technically you're buying the token if you want inflation, if you want exposure to the inflation. So the price goes up. But on Chain, that doesn't happen, right? If you want exposure to the inflation, you just need to bridge over your Bitcoin or your ETH or your stables, and you can get exposure to it. And you can sell those rewards. So yeah, I don't know how it's going to be in terms of price action. I think POL is great for the ecosystem and great for users and great for apps. I don't know. I'm not convinced how great it is for bearer price action, especially when there is such a big gap between the value of inflation that's coming in and the value of bribes that protocols are willing to pay for it. So let's see how it goes. Yeah, I actually mentioned my thoughts on the premiums versus other LSTs yesterday. MBGT has actually got the highest premium right now, and I think that's because you get full controllability of where you want to boost certain validators. I think IBGT has slightly higher premium than the others because of your exposure to infrared, and maybe you get exposure to infrared airdrop, and maybe you get exposure to something related to infrared on that regard. But in general, most of the LSTs are generally like priced within like pretty close proximity to one another. So I think IBGT, as we just talked about, is a 15% premium, whereas something like STBGT has a 10% premium. So there's not that much difference between them. But yeah, that's basically my thoughts on it. Yeah, let's see. Mo, do you have any other tokens of like anything like that's actually interesting or maybe worth
That's
trading?
all it on my end.
All right. Well, yeah, I think I don't see any further questions at all. So yeah, I think with that, let's wrap things up. Thanks for joining again this week. We'll see you again next week for another episode of the Weekly